Welcome to my broke down car, or welcome back to my broke down car. I should not have had to use that intro more than once. I should not have had to use that intro more than once. Roll the clip. Welcome to my broke down car, or welcome back to my broke down car. So here we are again. My car is broke down again, but wait. Okay, so both of these stories tie in. Actually, all of the stories tie in from, we're gonna take it back to the first video that I've ever made on this channel with me getting arrested naked and my car getting totaled and things, with it looking a hot mess like this. Obviously, it was like certified total through insurance would total it, but I got it fixed outside of the insurance at like a separate mechanic that we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into that. Shoulda never. But so that story ties into the mukbang and my broke down BMW story of it going to the mechanic, the same mechanic as the first time, which is gonna bring it into current day, it being broke down because of those mechanics. So here we are. Let's get into it. So we're gonna take it back like 2 years. I got arrested and my car got messed up, and then my mom's boyfriend at the time like suggested his mechanic, like, oh, they do things, you know, they dabble around, they whatever they do, they know how to do things. You're about to understand why I'm pressed. So I was like, oh, okay, well, like if they know how to fix it, then like sure. I literally took out an entire loan, an entire $1,200 loan to get my car fixed from them, right? And then it was a control arm and some other things, because like the front wheels, how I said they was facing different directions or whatever, and clearly not supposed to do that. So things ended up costing, I believe it was like almost $600 for that, and then I had to pay for like other parts with the car and stuff like that. So ended up getting it fixed or whatever. When I go to get it, I get in the car and I'm driving off and I hear like this popping sound when I turn the steering wheel, and I'm like, is that normal? I don't think so, because like it clearly wasn't doing that before. So I turn around, I go back to them, and they said, oh, it's gonna go away, that's just kind of because it's new, it's gonna kind of like pop or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like me just being like, I don't know how old I was. I think I was like 18 at the time or something. So like me just being you know what I mean? Like, okay, it's gonna pop, and then one day it's gonna pop into place. What an idiot. Like, me just thinking the joints are gonna pop back in place. Anyway, so I drive off slowly over time. Well, the steering was immediately off. Like, the steering was off. I needed a wheel alignment, and then over time, the sound started to get lower, but the steering wheel would kind of like pop a knuckle if I turned a certain way, and then the steering would just be off the other way or off the other way. I didn't care. Like, I cared, but I have other problems occurring. So like, fast forward probably about another year or so, the steering's just been off forever, right? So then fast forward to my car breaks down, and this was the time that I was saying, and I believe it was my PetSmart video, why I quit, and I was like walking to work. I was walking to work because my car was broke down. Cars broke down in the mukbang video. It was the same situation. It was like it was the same situation, right? So my car would not, like, it would crank and everything, but it kept shutting off, like kept randomly shutting off, and would only drive about, I'm talking about, you had a good 2 minutes to get to where you were going before it was shut down, and we need to jump sometimes. Sometimes it would just crank back up and then randomly shut off. It was a hot mess. So my job at PetSmart was 0.3 miles away from my house. So you would think you can travel 0.3 miles in under 2 minutes. Not when there's 5 stop signs. No, you can't. So so that's why I was not able to drive it to work. I tried, trust me, and they kept shutting off on the way, and it was a mess. My mom's now husband said, oh, why don't you take it to my mechanics or whatever? Like, they know what they're doing. Like, they can get it fixed for you. And I'm like, I mean, I was like, I guess. Like, I kept putting it off because I was tired of spending money on my car, like just BMW things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of this thing just taking all of my money. After about 2 months of convincing me to just get my car fixed, I said, you know what? All right, we've saved up a little bit of PetSmart coin. Mind you, watch that video. That's a hot mess. Clearly, I wasn't making any money, so like that's why it took this long. That part too. So I believe it was July 8th. I said, all right, let's get her fixed. Let's get her fixed, whatever the problem is, right? So my car gets towed to these mechanics, these trash mechanics. Y'all, I'm talking about bottom of the barrel garbage, complete trash, like not a worse mechanic, like bumpskis, like booty licking bumpski mechanics. Like, where's my Nicki verse?
Bro, so crusty, disgusting me.
Crusty mechanics. Okay, back to the story. We're gonna get into why they're trash. It gets told to these horrible mechanics or whatever on July the 8th. They call me and they say,
"Oh, it looks like it's your battery."
And I'm like, that's kind of odd. Like, how could it be? But hey, if you're the mechanic, because like I know things about cars, but we'll get into that. So like I'm not just like a normal customer, right? So I said I'll get a battery and I'll just come and drop it off to y'all so y'all could put it in or whatever like that. Even though I know how to put in a battery, but like it was already there. So like I was just gonna bring them a battery. Okay. They put the battery in and that's pretty much all they did. And they charged me about, I believe it was about $300. So they had did something else also. I believe it was spark plugs and ignition coils. Because there's no way I forked over $300 on a battery change where I brought the battery elsewhere. But yeah, back to the story. I don't know. Look, I know. We're going to get into it. That's clearly a lot. They tell me my car is ready 4 days later. It is now July the 12th. I go, I pick up my car. I'm excited. I'm on Snapchat. Like, she's back. Yeah. Like, excited, right? My car lasted 2 days. Mind you, at this time I was working at PetSmart. So the fact that I was riding my bike to PetSmart, somebody stole my bike. I was riding my scooter. My scooter just trashed. Like, it was embarrassing. So I started walking. And then the fact that I was able to finally pull back up in my car for like the first time. I didn't even go to the job interview driving my car. So the fact that I finally like pulled up and everybody was like, oh my gosh, like we see you, yes, in the BMW, like my coworkers, stuff like that. The fact that my car lasted 2 days before it broke down again, that was highly embarrassing. Everybody was like, what happened to your car? And then it started looking like I was lying, like that wasn't my car or something. Like people was really like, that wasn't his car, that was his car. Cause like I've been walking for like 2 months, right? Also, mind you, my job was less than half a mile away from my house. So me saying my car lasted 2 days means that my car lasted 2 miles, literally. So my car drove for about 2 miles before it broke down. I then get my car towed back to the mechanic. This was on July the 15th. I don't know what these mechanics did this second round, but they had my car for 4 more days, right? On July the 19th, they said,
"Hey, your car's ready. You can come pick it up. We got everything taken care of."
They charged me whatever they charged me. I honestly don't even want to think about what the number was. I think it was around like $100 though, for whatever they did, right? Another $100, second round. My car, so my stepbrother is driving my car back and I'm driving my mom's truck behind him. As we wait at the stoplight, I'm smelling something behind, like since I'm behind him, I'm smelling something. And I know my car, I know my car, like the back of my hand, the front of my hand, everything, right? So I'm smelling something like, okay, that's not right. Like my car, like that has to be my car. My car is right in front of me. I smell something weird. Mind you, an entire hazard, like my stepbrother could just blow up in the car right now. I'm smelling something is off. This man's just minding his business, driving like everything's fine and dandy, like, like you're just excited to like drive my car or whatever. Pulls up and he's like, wow, your car drives good. I said, please step away from the vehicle. I said, the vehicle is smoking. The car is smoking. This is not well. This is now the 3rd time that I picked my car up and it is smoking in the driveway. Smoking in the driveway. He was like, I didn't even know that. I didn't even notice. Of course not. My car lasted 4 days this time. 4 days this time. And then it broke down again. So mind you, I only go to work. I don't have a social life. So like by me saying my car lasted 4 days, that means that it lasted like what, 2 miles? 1 mile in a day. 2. Okay, if I say my car lasted 4 days, me not being able to do math, what is that? I guess that is 4 miles. Is that 4 miles? Yeah, okay, yeah. So if my car lasted 4 days, it lasted 4 miles. That's not a lot. July 24th, I get my car towed back to them. Mind you, clearly this is a lot of tows. And it was more embarrassing because like the neighbor's just looking out the windows like, And then I kept getting the same AAA tow guy, and he was just like, again? Like, again? Like, hey, like, again? Like, oh, how are you doing? Like, what was it this time? Like, it got embarrassing, right? And obviously concerning because I was using like my entire year's worth of AAA membership in like 1 month. So my car gets towed to them. And at this point, I'm heated. Heated, upset, pressed, mad, depressed, all of it. Why? Because I'm working at PetSmart for like $11 an hour, cleaning up dog poop and pee and dealing with all these customers and things. Like, so like I have no money, I have no car, I'm walking to work sweating in these jeans. It's a hot mess, right? Somebody stole my bike. So my car was smoking, almost blew up like 3 times. And I've used my entire year's worth of AAA membership, almost my entire year's worth of AAA membership in 1 month. So the mechanic has my car for a couple days, and I call them like, hey, where's my car? Like, what's going on? And they're like,
oh, we're figuring it out, like, we're working on it.
So I call back like another day or two later, and at this point, I just keep calling like every day or two, and they just keep blowing me off like,
We're getting to it, we're working on it, we're trying to figure it out. We are doing what we can do for you.
And I'm literally on the phone walking home with these people like every other day. Like, I only have 1 car. If you all have my car for this long, that's a problem. Like, I'm on foot right now. I am hunting and gathering on foot right now. Like, when I have to go to the grocery, like, I'm on foot because y'all have my car for this long. So I'm on the phone, like, upset with them, like, letting them know, please, whatever you have to do, like, if you can't fix it, let me know. And if you can fix it, what's taking so long? So on August the 5th, I called them just pressed. And I said, can y'all fix it or can you not? And the man said,
you know, we just don't have the equipment to fix it.
You kept my car for another 2 weeks and you didn't even have the equipment to fix it? Like, say that. Like, I kept calling. I called 1,000,000 times. I was so upset. Like, at this point, you've had my car back and forth for an entire month, and then the last portion for 2 weeks straight, I'm on foot sweating in jeans. Like, just for them to say,
you know, it's a European, it's a BMW, we don't even have the equipment to fix it.
I was so pressed, but I said, you know what? It's okay. I'll just have to face my fears and take it to the dealership, because everyone that owns a BMW's worst nightmare is to take their vehicle to the dealership, because things are astronomical. Like, the pricing is astronomical for things to get fixed. Simple things. But I said, you know, I'll just face my fears. I'll just have to get it towed there, whatever the case, because I just need my car running, right? Like, I don't even care about a good deal anymore. I don't even care about a good deal. Don't care. So I called AAA and I'm like, can y'all go and get my car from the mechanic or whatever? And y'all are going to meet me there, take me and my car from the mechanic to the dealership, right? So on August the 6th, I'm using my last AAA membership tow for the entire year as these mechanics all gather around in the street to push my car onto a tow truck because they couldn't fix it for a month. So then I go up to this man. I'm pressed. I'm pressed, rightfully so pressed. And I said, what could you possibly charge me for this time because you did not fix my vehicle? Like, you didn't accomplish anything this time. All you did was keep it for half a month. So I said, what could you possibly charge me for it? He said, well, we did put gas in it, so I'll just charge you like $40 for gas. And I said, you know what? Fine. So, me being me, like, I don't know how or why it didn't register in my mind. How could you put gas in my vehicle? How could you fill up my tank with gas if you couldn't even get it to crank? Keep that in mind. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind, but I just me being me, like pulled out $40, gave this man another $40 on top of the 300 the first time, the 100 the second time, and just gave this man another $40 for gas or whatever as they pushed my car onto the tow truck and I went to the dealership or whatever. So August the 7th, the next day, literally the next day, I get a text from the dealership and they're like, oh, we got your car up running, like, great, we got it going smooth, less than 24 hours, we got it for you, you got it good. And then they text me, like, a quote of some of the other things that needs to be fixed in the vehicle, and y'all, they came out to, like, I swear it was almost $5,000. And this is what I mean by, like, you don't want to take your car to the dealership, because to get quoted $5,000 for anything to get fixed, like, I would just buy another car type situation. When I said, you know what, leave everything how it is. I just want it cranked for right now. I just want it running. Thank you so much. I'll be there to pick it up. So I go there to pick it up and I'm so excited that the car is running. I think they charged only like, it was around $200 or something like that. It was just a wiring issue with the battery. So, which even had me more impressed. Like, I just waited an entire month for $200. Like, I could have had this fixed, but I was scared to take it to the dealership. These mechanics just, whatever, right. So they tell me, great, we got it running, like, here's the keys or whatever. But they said you're gonna have to make it to a gas station because, like, you have no gas in there. I said, what do you mean there's no gas in there? I just paid $40 for a full tank of gas. He said, there's no gas in your car. Like, it might shut off, but only because it's out of gas. I said, that's all. Let me just get in there and check really quick. I get in there. Yo, I had half a gallon of gas. Not half a tank, half a gallon. Like, less than half a gallon. Like, if I accidentally, on the pedal, boom, all the gas just gone, right? So I drive to a gas station, I get gas. And at this point, I'm like, I'm never going back to those mechanics. At this point, I've made up in my mind, I'm never going back to those mechanics because, like, you can finesse me and play me out of, like, $1,200, but when you play me out of a full tank of gas, we're done. That's where I draw the line. That's where you're finished, because it's like, oh, then you just lied to me. Not only did you play me for an entire month, not fix my car correctly the first time with the control arm, the second time with you just replaced the battery, the third time with whatever you did or didn't do because it only lasted like 4 days. Wasted all of my time to charge me a full tank of gas. So at this point in my mind, I said, all right, if anything ever happens to this vehicle again and it's something that I cannot fix, then I'm not going to take it back to this mechanic. So now this is where we are, right? I said, I'm not going to take it back to this mechanic ever in life. That brings us up to present day. So my car has had a slight oil leak or whatever, right? A bit more than a slight oil leak, but I was like pushing it off because of whatever, right? So I kept pushing it off. And then one night I'm driving and I'm in... One night I'm driving and I'm picking somebody up some food or whatever. One night, literally like right before my birthday, birthday weekend type situation, I'm in a Jack in the Box parking lot in the drive-thru or whatever, and I pull up to the thing. Mind you, it's like 4 a.m. So like, why are you taking so long to like give me my food type situation, right? Anyways, this is me in the drive-thru. So I pull up, everything's running fine, right? And then the car starts like doing this. It starts doing this. And I'm like, uh-oh. So now I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna like drive off like this man's not even at the window for me to tell him, because then it's gonna look like I just paid for the food and left type situation. So I'm like, oh my God, just wait. If I can hold on until this man brings the food. And then I hear something like, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I know, like, at this point, I know that the serpentine belt is about to slip off because of the oil leak. I know that's about to happen. And I didn't want to turn off the car because it might not turn back on type situation. And I didn't want to break down in the drive-thru because somebody just pulled up behind me and my car is doing this. Like squeaking, right? Then I hear an explosion. That means that the serpentine belt tore, like slipped off the track or whatever, tore, shredded up in my engine. Then my car starts smoking. Mind you, it's around like 25, 30 degrees, right? So I'm looking back and I was confused, like, is that smoke from the muffler, just from like the heat or whatever? But then I see like from the engine bay, like as I'm in the drive-through, like smoke coming out of the engine bay. And then the car's still like, and I'm waiting for the food. Then I see the man walking over, and like my car is literally scooting like this. And I'm like, please hurry up, sir. Please hurry up. Please hurry up. As my car is like scooting by itself past the window. The man comes over there and he's like, oh, here's the drink. We're still waiting on the food. I was so pressed. I was like, please hurry up, sir. Like, I'm not the type of person to be rude to customer service because like I worked at Taco Cabana. Like, I know how that goes. But like my car's about to explode. So then he comes back like a minute later, gives me the food, and then my car barely makes it to the parking spot right up front, right? So I get out and I just take out the pieces and bits of the Serpentine belt and just, you know, throw it over yonder. I get back in the car, and me being me, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, so I keep driving without the Serpentine belt, and if you don't know what the Serpentine belt is, it's like, it's the belt in the engine bay that keeps all the pulleys like going and stuff like that. So if you do not have a Serpentine belt on, that means your power steering goes out. So that means it's like almost impossible to turn the steering wheel, but I don't care. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going. So I keep driving or whatever. Almost impossible to turn the steering wheel. And then all of a sudden, like my car was driving like oddly smooth, right? Oddly smooth. No steering though. No, couldn't really turn the steering wheel. And then all of a sudden the lights start flashing in the car. Boom, all the lights turn off, every light in the dash comes on, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll go home. So then I start trying to drive home or whatever. Car just shuts off in the parking lot. In the back of a Jack in the Box parking lot at 4 a.m. Like literally the night before my birthday. And I vlogged the entire situation, and I was gonna post it like as a rant vlog situation. Like, here's the clip. Now my car broke down! And I'm freezing. I have to wait hours for the AAA people to get here. Literally, the car was smoking. It was shaking. Then it was smoking. The dash lit up. And I'm just like, I'm going to keep driving. So at this point, it's 4 a.m. It is like 20-something degrees. I'm trapped in my car for hours, and my car just broke down. And I said, you know what? I don't care. Let me just call these AAA people. And this is now like a year later. So like I had membership situation. This is a year later than the second time my car broke down situation, right? So I called AAA, and they said we're going to be there. They come in a couple hours, literally a couple hours. Took forever. Come in a couple hours, tows my car back to the house or whatever. And then at this point, I decide that I'm going to try to fix everything on my car that I could. And then I would take it to a mechanic that I want to take it to, right? That I know can fix things, right? So then I guess I was just taking entirely too long for someone's patience. So my mother's husband offered, and he said, hey, me and your mom were talking, and we think that for Christmas, one of your gifts, we're gonna put your car in the shop and get it fixed for you. And I was like any normal person would be like ecstatic, would be like, yay. But I was like, I guess, but like I still need to do a few things or whatever. So he ordered some like a few parts for me to like do with the car or whatever, stuff like that, before I took it to them, because it was going to be astronomical price, right? So I do a few things, and then I said, yeah, so I do a few things, change the valve cover gasket, engine air filter, like I was changing things, right? Changed a lot of things, right? So, and then the car still wouldn't crank after I put it back together, and I said, well, I already changed the battery and all of these other things, so like it has to be the alternator. It has to be the alternator. So I literally took out the alternator, took it to go get tested at AutoZone and all these places, and they're like, oh, unfortunately, we don't have the equipment to test that because it's from a BMW, all this stupid stuff. But I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just probably buy another one tomorrow, and I'll just put it in. Worst case scenario, it won't crank, and I'll just return the new alternator, right? So, and then my mom's husband says, no, don't buy an alternator. I'll just take it to the mechanic. You go to work. You can drive my truck to work. I'll just have your car towed to the mechanic, and I'll take care of it. I'll cover the cost. So I'm like, I mean, I really just want to try this so that you're not charged for something that I can do, because I literally can change an alternator in 9 minutes flat. But hey, if you want to do that, it's your money. Go ahead, right? So, So all I know is that my car is gone after I get back from work. All I know is my car is gone and that it's at a mechanic. At a mechanic. A mechanic. I was not 100% aware that it was at the mechanic that I did not want to ever go to again. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. Things get worse, right? Things get worse. So, so literally a whole week later, he says, oh yeah, they said it was the alternator. And I'm like, that's what I said. Like, I know things about cars, so like I knew that it was the alternator and like probably something else or whatever, but I knew it was alternator. So they changed the alternator and did whatever else. I get back home from work. This man says, oh, let's go pick up your car. Like, it's ready, whatever. We go there, and I was like disgusted because I didn't want to see these people again after they pushed my car on a tow truck and had it for a month and didn't fix it and charged me $40 for a full tank of premium gas that they didn't put in there. So I didn't want to see them. So he went in, he paid or whatever, came out. I get in my car, and I'm like, because I can immediately tell when something's off. So then I drive on the highway or whatever, because I always take my car on like hot laps or whatever, right? So I like, if you want to know if your car is fixed correctly, get on the highway. Don't do that street driving. Get on the highway, run it up to 90, 100 miles an hour, and any problems that weren't fixed will reveal themselves faster than you driving like 30, you know what I mean? Like on the street home or whatever. So I run it on the highway, and I'm like, it's driving a little weird, and it wouldn't go over a certain speed. I'm not going to say what the speed is because it is kind of speeding, but it wouldn't go over a certain speed in the triple digits. And I was like, why would it not go over a certain speed in the triple digits when it used to max out before at the max speed that it could max out? So I was like, this is weird, but I was like, maybe it's just because it's been a month and I haven't driven my car. It's like, maybe I'm off. Maybe it's not the car, right? So now I'm driving and I look back and I see like a cloud of smoke. Like, not a cloud, like a dust storm of smoke, like throughout traffic behind me, right? Like smoking up the entire highway. I start smelling fumes in the car and I'm like, this isn't normal. But me just being me, like, I swear, I just do not know when to like stop, right? So I knew I was gonna have to go home, but I had to go to the store first. So I said, let me just run to Home Depot really quickly. And I ran to Home Depot and I came out and I got in the car to crank it, and it cranked weird. So it cranked weird. So then I put my foot on the gas and it would not go over 5 miles per hour. It would not go over 5 miles per hour. Mind you, this is day one. I've only had my car back from these mechanics for like less than an hour. Just smoked up the entire highway, cranked different, and then wouldn't go over 5 miles per hour. And that's never happened before. So I was like, this is weird. So I'm driving home and I'm calling my mom and I'm like panicking because they're like, my foot's all the way down the gas, wouldn't go over 5 miles per hour. That's scary. That is scary. So then my car all of a sudden decides to like go down to like 2 miles per hour in the middle of an intersection, and I almost got hit by oncoming traffic from both ways. My car almost got totaled. I was so embarrassed, like literally, and at that point, like I couldn't do anything. I was just like I have 0 tint on my window, so like people are just looking at me about to hit me, and I'm just like looking in the mid, like it was embarrassing. And then I call my mom's husband. I'm like, my car is breaking down. And it just smoked up the entire highway. It cranked weird and all this sort of things. I'm on my way home, if I make it home. So I finally pull up in the driveway, right? It pulls up in the driveway. And he's like, what's going on? What's going on? I tell him, it won't go over 5 miles per hour. It was just smoking, and I can smell an oil leak. So then he looks down at the ground because like the driveway is on a slant, and he just sees oil like running down the driveway. And he was like, yeah, that's not normal. It's leaking. It's heavily leaking. So just pull out the driveway really quickly. So I go to crank the... This is not funny. I go to crank my car, and when I put my foot on the brake, the engine revved.
What did he say?
I don't know if you heard me correctly the first time. When I put my foot on the brake, the engine revved. If you don't know what the engine revving means, that means that the brake pedal is doing what the gas pedal usually does. What do you mean? I was like, This is not funny. So I literally turned to this man. I said, I just put my foot on the brake and the engine revved. He said, what? I said, I just put my foot on the brake and the engine revved. He did not believe me until I showed him. Like, I literally made a whole TikTok about it too. Y'all, tell me why. Tell me why I pressed on the brake and the engine revved. The engine I pressed on the brake and the brake pedal does the same thing that the gas pedal does. I'm done. Y'all, literally look on the brake. Listen. That's the brake. It's not even funny. I don't even know. What? I hate it here. So at this point, I'm pressed. He's pressed. I'm more pressed, but I'm not surprised. And I'm like, you know what? At least this wasn't my money as far as this L goes. Because, like, worst case scenario, I thought, oh, the car won't get fixed properly. But, like, I didn't think there would be new problems. Because how do you charge somebody money and then give their car new problems? So, like, that's not what I was thinking was going to happen, right? So then obviously the car has to go back to them because, like, they clearly just messed up something or didn't do something correctly, right? So the car gets dropped off to them the following day. Several days later, my mom's husband tells me, oh, they're trying to charge me like another $400 because of this and that, and they said it's this and they said it's that. They're just all stuff, right? And they're talking to this man on the phone about car stuff that he doesn't know, and they don't know what they're talking about. So I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. Like, they don't work on European cars. My car was not supposed to. I did not know my car was going to be there, whatever the case, right? So he says, let me just step outside and talk to them or whatever, right? He's on the phone, steps outside, you know, or whatever. I'm still in the kitchen in the house. And then, like, after 5 minutes, like, I'm pressed. Like, I'm heated. And after 5 minutes, I look out the window and I see that this man is gone. Like, he drove off. And I was like, no, he did not go to the mechanics to give them $400. Like, that's what I was thinking he was gonna do. And I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, I was pressed. Like, he beyond heated. So I get in my mom's truck and I'm flying to the mechanic, right? I pull up. Like, I'm talking about fast and furious scene driving as I'm on my way to the mechanics or whatever. I pull up. I pull up and I get out the car and I see all these mechanics or whatever around my car with my mom's husband, and I was like, the hood popped on my car, all these mechanics around my car. I get out and I'm like I'm talking about like I move. When I say I have not been this mad in a long time, I don't even know if walked is the right word. I fastly approached all of them and I said, break it up. Like, what's this? What's going on? Back up from my car. Let's close the hood down. You're not giving them any more money. We're not doing this. I said, I need my keys. Where are my keys at? He said,
oh, they're already in the car. They're already in the car.
The mechanic's like,
they're already in the car. I'm just trying to tell him that your car has this problem and it has this
and all this stupid stuff, right? And he said,
it's the oil filter housing that's leaking.
And I said, no, it's not. He said,
yes, it is.
And then I showed him a video of when I just replaced it like several months prior. And then he was like,
oh, well, then it's this right here that's leaking. It has to be this that's leaking.
I'm like, you just said it was this, so clearly you don't know what you're talking about if I just showed you the video and then you changed up what you just said. And he just kept changing things and saying things and stuff like car talk that I'm not going to get into because, like, y'all wouldn't understand, but, like, stuff that didn't make sense to people that know about European cars and BMWs. So I was like, yeah, let's wrap it up. You need to give him back whatever money you need to give him back. And y'all, tell me why I literally saw this meme right before this. And it was like, the meme was like, nobody. Mechanics charging everybody $600 this week or whatever. Because of, like, the stimulus checks and everything coming in, it's not funny. But the fact that they literally charged my mom's husband $600 to not even fix my car, to cause more problems. I cannot. Oh my God, I hate my life. Anyways, back to the story. And I'm leaving. So I close the hood. They back up. I get in there. And then I'm thinking, because this is the second time that they've had my car, and, you know, after the first time they just had it, I'm thinking like, oh, when I put my foot on the brake, that portion is going to be fixed. I put my foot on the brake, the engine revs again. I look over and I said, why is my engine still revving when I put my foot on the brake? And then my mom's husband looked at the mechanic and said, yo, boss, he said the engine's still revving when he puts his foot on the brake. And then the mechanic had the audacity to tell me,
oh, well, we had to ground something and we had to do some wiring, and that's because you replaced the valve cover.
just stupid stuff, right? So at this point, I put my foot all the way down the gas, back out of this mechanic, tires screeching out of this mechanic shop, and then foot all the way down on the gas, burning tires all the way out, right? And I just left them like in tire smoke at the mechanic, like all those people outside, right? At this point, I'm furious, driving down the highway at speeds that are more than double listed. And I get home to my car just smoking again. Like just, like at this point, I really was looking into getting a fire extinguisher because at this point, my car is just a hazard, a fire hazard. Like I was very much pressed, right? So after I get my car back home, I tell my mom everything, and she has the audacity to tell me to calm down. Calm down. I said, he just paid another $600. He just paid $600 on top of the $1,200 I've paid and all the other hundreds, and now they've had $2,000 in my car, and they've done nothing correctly. Nothing correctly. I went on a long tangent and pretty much had to sit them down and explain to them everything. And the fact that I've spent almost, like, I have an entire list of everything that I've had to buy for that car, parts, maintenance, and everything. The fact that I've spent about $10,000 in maintenance and parts, and the car's running like trash, and these people just finessed out of $2,000 plus my $40 in gas that I never got. Heated. I literally made a TikTok on like one of my like little accounts, like their TikTok account or whatever, that got over 100,000 views of me just ranting. And then people were tagging David to buy me a new car. I was like, you guys, it's fine. I'll be fine. This is actually very tragic, because at what point, like, that's probably the worst possible thing that could ever happen. You put your foot. Why is the brake pedal and the gas pedal doing the same thing? Anyways, literally, the best case scenario that could have happened at the mechanics was just me, is what happened. Me really going off on them, getting in my car, leaving, screeching out of the parking lot because I wanted to fight the mechanics. Like, this is what I wanted to do to them.
Yep. Walk you like a dog. Yep.
But no. So literally, I sat my mom and her husband down and I said, look, I appreciate the thought, the effort, the suggestion to get my car fixed, the offer. I appreciate the sacrifice of money that has now been wasted. But now things are worse. Thank you for that. Thank you for that Christmas present. Now things are worse. Neither one of them have had a German vehicle before. So, like, that's also why I didn't want to have them take it to a mechanic, because it's not like, oh, $200. Like, bare minimum, you're going to get hit with like $500 or $600 each time. So they already was blown out the water by the price, but I had to explain to them why I was so pressed and everything like that. And now I have to pay out of my pocket again to go get my car fixed. Everything that was done from the mechanic, these bootleg mechanics that didn't know what they were doing, I have to now pay to get all of that undone, redone, and all of the things that I'm like, whatever y'all hot wired, baby, whatever they hot wired on my car, unhot wire it, undo that, and I have to pay to get all this stuff fixed. So I'm currently looking to invest in a fire extinguisher very soon for my car. I'm getting it fixed in a few days, and yeah, that is pretty much my tragic story of the worst mechanic ever. I'm talking about, if you live in Fort Worth, Texas, do not go to no mechanic on Roberts Cutoff. I think that's the road. I'm not putting their names out there, but they're probably the only mechanics on Robert Cutoff Road, whatever case. Fort Worth, Texas, baby, don't do it. -5 out of 5 Yelp star reviews. Absolutely not. Would never recommend. They probably don't even go there for windshield wiper fluid change because they're probably gonna crack your windshield. That's how trash they are. So to sum it all up for you all, I wasted like $2,000, took out an entire loan. My mom's husband wasted money. They kept my car for a month one time, kept it for 2 weeks the other time, kept it for 2 weeks the last time that they had it, made problems worse on top of the problems that were already existing. And only thing that they did successfully ever on my car was replace the battery and replace the alternator. Things that I could do, but no. Anyways, that is my life. That's my tragedies. That is my life. And that is my tragic car journey. Leave in the comments down below what you would do in this situation. Like, I know most of y'all say like, oh, well, you could probably go to court or something like that, and like rightfully so. But you know, I don't know. Look, I don't know what I should do. I don't know what I should do. But I am going to get my car properly fixed now, and that's going to cost a lot of money. So, not happy about that, but to keep up with me and my broke down car adventures, all my social media is at Zachariah DeMilo. My car page is at DeMilo_E90. Follow me on TikTok if you're not already. Instagram, Snapchat, all of that, Zachariah DeMilo. And until next time, I better hope I never catch them in the streets because, child, speed bump.